Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AR Weekly Podcast. Thank you for joining us today as we have Tanvi Kanchan, who's VP and Strategy Head of Anand Rathi. Hi, Tanvi. What is exactly an inflation?
So inflation, by mere definition, is a decline of purchasing power of the currency over a period of time. It is the rate at which the value of the currency falls and the price of goods and services rises. Thus, if you could buy, for instance, 10 items of goods and services with 1,000 rupees 20 years back, the same 1,000 rupees will not be able to buy you the exact goods and services because the underlying prices of those commodities have risen, thus reducing the currency's purchasing power. Now, as per Bloomberg's worldwide inflation data, considering India's inflation level at 8%, assuming that a commodity was priced at 100 rupees back in 1979, the same commodity right now would cost you somewhere around 2,500. And this is as per the inflation component that the government of India considers. Inflation varies from individual to individual basis on lifestyle upgrades, so on and so forth. For instance, basic education has gone up by almost 12 to 13%, airfares by 8 to 9%, property by another 13 to 14%, and so on. Thus, depending on your spending habits and lifestyle choices and upgrades, your own inflation would be higher than the average government considered inflation rate.
Okay, that's nice. Now, Tanvi, how does inflation actually affect investment portfolio? Can you please share some insight on that?
Inflation tells you how much of a base return you need to make in terms of at least maintaining your standard of living. Thus, taking the same example as we took before, something that costed you somewhere around 100 rupees back in 1979, taking a 12% inflation would cost you somewhere around 10,400. It is like the silent killer and ends up eroding and eating up the purchasing power of your money over a period of time. Account this huge factor, we need to ensure that our investment portfolio has the capabilities to at least beat inflation. While investment in risk-free assets might feel safer, they could end up destroying about 75% of your wealth over a period of 30 years. Because these risk-free assets generate about 7%, while your inflation is in the range of 10 to 12%, which just ends up defeating the entire purpose of investment. Your investment should be such that it aims at achieving a certain targeted return. This should take into account your risk-taking capabilities and also ensure that you beat a certain benchmark, and this benchmark is inflation. Thus, the asset class which comprises to be a part of your total investment portfolio should be such that it at least meets both of these objectives.
Oh, that sounds interesting. So, Tanvi, as you answered the previous question, now my next question to you would be, what should be the investment strategy? Like, if you can just tell our investors, that would be great.
So, as discussed earlier, that while investing in risk-free assets might feel like you're avoiding risk, but the underlying risk of investment is always prevalent. So you end up taking even a bigger risk of capital erosion. A good diversified long-term oriented portfolio in line with your risk-taking capabilities is the key to beating inflation and creating good long-term wealth. If you look at the equity market, while in short term they are volatile and they seem very risky, over a longer period of time, this volatility reduces drastically. As example, a 1 year rolling return from 1995 till 2001, the minimum return that it has generated is negative 53%, while the maximum was 92%. Taking the same data at a 5 year rolling period, the minimum was negative 5% and the maximum was 44%. Now, if we take the same period at a 10 year rolling return, the minimum goes to 4% and the maximum at 20%. This very clearly indicates that in the shorter term, equity can be volatile, but over a longer term, it reduces. Optimally managed asset classes like mutual fund help in reducing the risk or reducing the standard deviation by way of good portfolio management on the fund manager's part. Now, assuming that you had blindly selected the mutual funds that were prevailing back in 1995 with absolutely no selection methodology, you would have still ended up making about 55 times a 38 times outperformance over benchmark Nifty. These asset classes not only help in generating higher return, but are also very tax effective. So, for instance, if you had invested in FD generating 7% and similar debt mutual fund generating the same 7%, post-tax debt mutual fund would give you somewhere around 6.5%, while FD would give you only about 4.51%, primarily because of the indexation benefit that debt mutual fund offers. Thus, while risk is unavoidable, it is manageable over a longer period of time. A good investment plan should consider an asset allocation strategy where your assets are well diversified in equities and debt. The debt part of your portfolio helps in order to provide cushion during volatile and consistent returns, while equity generates an alpha over and above your benchmark. You can go check out more in details in the basket section on our Anurati mutual fund apps and portals. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanvi, for answering this question as well. With this, I think our investors would have a good amount of insights on this topic. And thank you so much once again for sharing knowledge on what is inflation. So, folks, that's it. Thank you for joining and listening to our AR Weekly podcast. Stay tuned. Follow us on our social media platforms for all our market updates. Happy investing.